Hello? Oh boy, we're live. We're doing it live.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, people are paying attention. Ah! Just kidding. Hi everybody. Could I get a quick go? One more time. Go.
Cougs.
Okay, one more. Go.
Cougs.
Thank you. If you know Marco Polo, if you know College Hill, if you know the CougsFirst podcast, you're going to want to come over here and hang out with us because we're going to have a conversation, and I want to embarrass these two. So please come on over to the stage. We're just going to have a conversation. We're just hanging out. I told them it's like we're at the Coug having a beer and just talking business. So that's what we're going to be doing over here. My name is Kelsey Knutson. I host the CougsFirst podcast, and I first want to kick it off by introducing my friends up here, Jen and Matt. Jen, could you just give a quick intro of who you are and what you do? We'll start there. We'll dive deeper from there.
Hey, well, let's start off with Go Cougs. My name is Jen, and I'm currently the CEO of College Hill. I got my start with College Hill actually 10 years ago as of yesterday, and College Hill has been around for about 11 and a half years. And so I have got the privilege of creating this business alongside of who you guys all might know here, Tony Poston, the executive director of CougsFirst now. And so Tony and I actually met at ASWSU. We are both student leaders, and so us coming back together after we graduated only seemed right and natural, and then getting involved in this community was a no-brainer for us.
I love that. And Matt, who are you? What do you do?
Hi guys, I'm Matt Miera. If you don't know me, I own the Marco Polo Bar and Grill in Georgetown. We like to consider ourselves the official Coug bar of Seattle. I've owned the bar for 17 years. We bought it in 2006. And you might know us for our pressure fried chicken or Pure Gold cheeseburgers, and go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
Okay, the first place I want to start is your Cougar story. So how did you decide to go to WSU? Jen and then Matt.
Okay, so I actually started my journey at the University of Rhode Island. I was on a full-ride scholarship for softball. And after coming, I played there for a couple years. I ended up coming back, going to school at San Diego State. And I got injured down there snowboarding, which was kind of against a contract as an athlete at that time. Rules have definitely changed now. And somebody had told me about this university called Washington State University. And he's like, you should come up and visit. I literally said, okay, I'll see you in a month. And I flew up. I applied that weekend, and I got accepted. And I moved up here a month later. And I actually wanted to, it was the first time I was going to have to pay for my schooling. And so I lived in Washington for an entire year so I can get in-state tuition. And then I stretched my senior year into 2 years because I love WSU so much. And what we are doing as far as the student body and the government, and so I just didn't want to go. And I'm so thankful I didn't, because I met Tony that senior year. And it just, again, it's come full circle. So I ended up at WSU because someone suggested it. I'd go and visit, and here we are. Thank you.
So my WSU, why I chose WSU is kind of interesting. My whole family went to UW. And I was like, I know. But I was like, I don't want to go there. Like, I don't want to see my parents every day in Seattle. So I applied to WSU. I heard it was big on hospitality business management, which is what I got my degree in. And so I went up to Pullman for the first time, fell in love with the campus. Like, this is me. And then so I was like, hey, I'm going to do hospitality business management. And it was like rated at that time the #3 school. And it worked out great for us. And it's kind of crazy. My parents were so anti-Wazoo that they wouldn't take me, so I had to take a Greyhound bus by myself with my backpack and my duffel bag all the way to Pullman, but now they're like diehard Cougs. So I converted them.
I love that. So something special happened earlier today. We had our first ever career fair at CougsFirst. So I would love to kind of speak to those recent grads. If you were to rewind the clock back to when you were in, I don't know, just finishing college or figuring out what to do with your life. I mean, the truth is, I think we're all still trying to figure out what we're doing. But besides that, if you were to speak to that version of you, being a Coug, what would you say? We'll just have you go this way.
Honestly, my biggest thing is anybody here that knows me probably has my business card in their pocket right now. Right? Yeah.
Or a golf ball.
Hands down, networking's the best thing you can do when you get out of college. Everybody has a lot of book smarts. We all have the same degree, but what it comes down to is getting out there, introducing yourself, selling yourself, networking. Handing out a business card, shaking hands, slapping backs. Pretend like you're running for mayor, because that's what you're doing. If you want to get a job right now... Matt
literally just told me he wants to run for governor. So.
I am going to run for governor, so... I know, I have your vote. But literally, you have to sell yourself. When I was 22, 23, getting out of college, it was all about selling myself and telling people, like, hey, I know I'm just like the young kid out of college, but I'm really good at what I do. I know I can run your company. I know that I'm qualified. And make them believe that you are better than anybody else out there. Network, sell yourself, just go out there and be you.
How about you, Jen?
Yeah, and I agree. Great points. For me, I think it's more about getting involved while you're a student and not waiting until you leave. And so for me, my connections at WSU in the community just became natural. And so that's another thing, is don't force it and know your lane. And so be fierce in reaching out, be fierce in networking, and don't be afraid to ask. And don't be afraid to reach out to someone just for advice. There's many Cougs in this room that I've reached out to. I've had coffee, I've had happy hour with, and we just talk shop. And that to me is more valuable than anything, is because I'm getting knowledge of somebody who's already gone through those trials and tribulations. And so if I were to go back in time, I'm not going to say how long ago that was, I would just say get more involved and be genuine in those connections and really get to know those individuals, because you never know where that's going to lead you down the road.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I want to share the love because we have such a mix of people in here, even though it's a Coug event. So for the 3 people sitting in this stage, how many of you own a business? Okay, awesome. What advice would you give to those people listening later to this episode or walking around the room? If you were to start a business like right now and you're a Coug and you're in the room, what advice would you give?
Network with other business owners. Do not be afraid to reach out and ask them how they did it. Ask them what their advice is. And even if it's not in the same realm, one of the best advice that I was given was from somebody who owns a chicken feed company, and that has nothing to do with custom apparel. But what was really cool is we were able to talk about his trials and tribulations, which then aligned with what we were going through, or if I was a new business owner, what I would imagine what I was going to get into. And so just don't be afraid to ask people for help. And I think that's the biggest thing, and that was a learning lesson for me when I first started, is like I wanted to do it all on my own. I'm smart enough to figure this out. I'm smart enough to hire the right people to figure it out, but why not just go out there and ask for the help?
Yeah, I agree. I think my biggest thing for starting a business is creating a brand. You hear a lot about, go out there, you're passionate about your business, you're driven about your business, but, have a brand and back it up. Like, do whatever you can to support and focus on driving your brand. When I took over the Marco Polo 17 years ago, it was not a Coug bar when we took it over. It was just a dive bar in Georgetown. But we made it a Coug bar, and it wasn't by hanging up a Coug flag or painting the walls crimson and gray. It was about the things we did to support our brand, the things that we wanted to do to network and get people into our business and build that business. So, my biggest thing is like find what your brand is and figure out what it is you can do to help build that brand.
You're kind of in my head because I was going to ask, what is special about the Cougar community? I mean, the title of this thing that we're doing up here is how to turn Cougs into clients. So what do you think? Is it the type of people? Like, what is it about Cougs that make really awesome clients and partnerships in business?
Well, I think collectively we all lived in a wheat field together, and so it was such a small community. And I think that's something that's really special. And I'm speaking from someone who went to 2 other universities. And nobody says, go roadie the Rams. I never hear that anywhere, or go Aztecs. It's just nowhere. And so it's the Coug community. It's knowing that we all lived out in this small rural town and we made it out together.
I agree.
Yeah, for sure. I think, just to go off of what you were saying, we all came from Pullman. We all have one thing in common. It's being out in a wheat field. That's all we had, right? And so for us, at the Marco, one of the things that we've tried to do is we wanted to try to give you something that reminds you of Pullman. We sell burgers and beer, so we want to make sure that we have fry sauce on all the cheeseburgers. You know, so it was like, oh my God, fry sauce reminds me of Cougar Country. We put Cougar Gold cheese on all of our cheeseburgers. You know, all those little tiny things that remind you and connect us back to what we all have in common, and that's the wheat fields in Pullman.
Okay, I want to ask a more strategic question. So you're at lunch, you connected with a Coug maybe at this event, and you're getting to know that you're vibing, you're getting to know them, and then that next step of actually wanting to do business together, what advice would you give and how to take that conversation from like we're just connecting to like we're actually going to do some stuff together?
I think it's about the follow-up. And so even here, you know, my first CougsFirst show was 10 years ago. And it is so cool to see the same business is still here, plus more. But I was not afraid once I made those genuine contacts here to follow up on that. And then follow up in a genuine way, not follow up for the business, but follow up to figure out how are they doing? You know, what are their goals for the next year? And then how can we help them succeed and meet their goals?
For us, it's service. I mean, we could give the worst cheeseburger and the warmest beer out there, but just providing a really great service and just connecting with people. Like for us in our industry, it's people. Trying to find that relation with people and then saying, hey, look, I guarantee you, if you come to my place, it'll be the best experience you ever had. And if it's not, I will go out of my way to make sure it's the best experience you have the next time you come back. So it's building that relationship, following through on it, executing, and just giving great service.
And how did you figure that out? Like, were there books, podcasts, mentors, coaching? Was there a class at WSU that helped you figure this out for your business, life experience? What is it? Solo trips? I don't know, Matt. What is it?
I was just born with this natural great quality. You know, honestly, I don't know. I think a lot of it is trial and error. 17 years ago, I was 26 years old. I started at the bar. I had no idea what I was doing. I had never bartended before. I had never poured a drink before. I had no idea what I was doing. But I knew people. And you quickly learn that works, that doesn't work. I mean, there's going to be times as a small business owner, you're going to make mistakes. It's given. And it's all about how you just dust off, get back up, and figure it out. And I think COVID was like a big thing for a lot of people. It literally was like, hey, you have to change the way you do business. You have to change the way that you adapt and relate with people. And so it's just a learning experience. You're going to fail at times. It's all about how you respond to it and keep moving on.
Yeah, I echo that. I mean, I think we're still trying to figure it out. And that's one of the really cool things about being a small company is you're able to pivot without all the red tape. And so for us during COVID, we started in the Greek market, heavily collegiate, but that went away during COVID. And so we pivoted really quickly to a growing market that we already had in corporate, but to what their needs were during COVID at this time. And so it is, again, a lot of trial and error, but it's also not being afraid to try. You know, it's okay to fail, and I don't call it failure. It's okay to learn from a misstep. But for us, it's just because we're Cougs doesn't mean you're going to work with us. And we know that. You know, we have to earn that business. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to show you why you should work with nobody else but us. And if you decide to go work with somebody else, we're still going to follow up and see how that experience was and say, hey, if there's a time that they can't help you, think of us. Think CougsFirst.
Yeah, I agree with that. What has CougsFirst specifically done for both of your businesses?
For us, again, starting out 10 years ago at the very first one, we were a year and a half into business and into the collegiate market. So this was a whole new world for us, and it opened doors for us. I remember meeting Sam from Flatstick, and he actually walked me down on their ground floor of their South Lake Union when they were still building it out. And so to me, that was really cool because a Cougar brought me into their world, into what they were creating, and shared something that was really special with them, with me. And then I was able to take that story, what he shared with me, back to my team and say, hey, I was so inspired by this. Let's move in this space. And so for CougsFirst, it's allowed us to grow beyond the collegiate market and really shine and become a national company and not just a Pullman company.
That's crazy to think about because it's not, I don't see like Greek row here. So that kind of baffles my mind. Like that initial decision to show up in a room where you're like, these aren't really my target people, but maybe something could become of it. That's really cool. How about you? What's it been like?
Well, I think for sure, like we signed up for CougsFirst the very first year it opened up. We were like one of the very first bars, first restaurants that signed up. But there was a time when we had like maybe 20, 30 people showing up for a game day. And I remember Glennie O, one of the founding members of CougsFirst, came in and was like, brought a group of 20 people. The following week, we had 40 people, 50 people. And now it's standing room only, reservations, waiting in line to get in the door. But it was literally the CougsFirst founding members spreading the word about, hey, there's this bar in Georgetown. They're all about Cougs. They are Coug-owned. They don't just say that they are, and they're passionate about it. And it literally projected us so much further to where we were, and it's made us who we are now.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to flip the question and ask, what do people get wrong when they come in these rooms, when they're networking here, whether they have a booth or they're just walking around? What are they missing? What are they not taking advantage of? What are your thoughts on that?
What are they missing? I think the biggest thing that they need to do is just focus on trying to build that relationship with the person. I mean, again, we all have something in common. We all have a passion for WSU. Try to find that with that person you're talking to and connect with them and continue to connect with them. And eventually it'll work, it'll move, it'll happen.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot being done wrong, because look how year over year the show keeps growing and growing. And so I think everything is just moving in the right direction right now. And, when we meet people at the booth, I'm surprised I have emails in my inbox before I even get home to email them. And so I think the university is doing a really good job as far as educating the students of how to get out there, how to network, how to position yourself to align with these businesses. I am just really fortunate for CougsFirst in so many different aspects. Like, we would not be where we are today without this trade show. And so I really cannot say anything's being done wrong in this space.
Yeah, I would just kind of echo what you're saying. I mean, I've been a part of it also for 10 years, and get in the room, step one, while you're here, so you're in it. And step two is take advantage, not in like a sleazy way, but like build those connections. We're all here to support each other, so take the time to meet people, follow up. Like you said, I think a lot of people come in and they don't follow up, and then they're like, I didn't get anything out of it. And I'm like, well, who'd you talk to? What'd you do? It's all about those connections, and I think that's what the Coug community does well.
I think one of the coolest thing is before the Career Expo this year, we had students walking up to us and asking us if we're hiring. And it was not even a thought on my radar. And I'm like, yes, we are. We're always looking for great candidates. And so to see the trade show evolve into that, I think was a really smart move.
Out of people literally asking for it. Yeah. You're going to say something? No? Like copy paste, same thought?
Whatever she said, I'm in.
Okay. We're going to enter the era of conversation, which I like to call the Kelsey nosy questions, which are things that I just want to know the answer to. We're just going to go with it. If you were to start a business today, like from scratch, what would it be?
College Hill. No, honestly, I don't know. Me and my husband, we've started other businesses on the side, and so I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what it'd be. It would be something that there would be a need, so you'd have to find a niche. And I just think that's a really hard question to answer on the spot. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd open another bar.
I know. I'm not surprised at all.
That's all I know how to do.
Where would it be?
Kirkland, probably. No, I don't know. I mean, I love the restaurant business, so I probably would just do another restaurant.
Yeah. Seattle. No, Seattle. Okay.
Kirkland. East Side.
We should get a vote. Okay.
Definitely Kirkland.
I want to talk about Pullman a little bit. And I would love to know, back when both of you were there, what was like a really pivotal moment, either person you met, experience you had, I don't know, football game you had some drinks at, that was really life-altering or had a big impact on your career and your life?
Well, I have two. It was meeting my best friend, Zach, who's around here somewhere, and also meeting my husband. So, but Zach actually gave me an opportunity to manage his campaign for ASWSU, and we were running against Tony's team, and I like to say we won. And so that was mine and Tony's first competitive combat that we had. But no, Zach really showed me a different side of WSU, and he showed me how important it was to get involved and how much we can do as students. And that opened my eyes, and then that introduced me to Tony, which then here we are 10 years later. And then my husband, meeting him, we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary here in 2 weeks. So there was a lot of happening for 2013 for me. But yeah, it would be meeting my best friend and my husband and Tony.
Oh, sweet. Matt?
I would say getting involved was a huge thing for me too. Hospitality grad, Sigma Iota. I was on the board for that, and it was like the first time I actually like got involved. And so it was like this hospitality club, but we just did all these different things together, and I started doing more and more with the university, and I was like, wow, there are actually a lot more fun things to do besides going out to the bars and like going to the games. And so I think it was us. It was just getting involved in like the different clubs and activities that are around.
That's awesome. I want to ask some Pullman questions. So what is your favorite season in Pullman, like time of year?
I love the summer. So I stayed there and I went to school over the summertime. I just think there's something about the university or the town having 30,000, then going down to 9,000. And then those are when we created some of the best bonds, just because when you're out there in the summer, we all know there's not much, there's a lot more to do in Pullman now than there was when I was there. And so I think those are some of the best memories I have, like going down to Snake River, jumping off into now what you can't do anymore. And then second would be football season. I mean, there is like getting in that stadium and hearing the crowd, and it gives me goosebumps thinking about it.
Yeah, I'd say football season for sure. Autumn time in Pullman is like the most beautiful thing ever. Like the leaves are changing, the wheat, the harvest, has to be autumn. September till like end of October.
I love that. Okay, if you were to get a alcoholic beverage in Pullman right now, what drink would it be?
Cougarita at the Coug.
Copy paste.
When did this become a thing? Because I recently went back to the Coug for the first time. It had been years. I didn't know what this Cougarita thing was, and apparently everyone was drinking. What is it?
1890 when the university started.
No, you go to the Coug and you have a pitcher of beer and you eat a hamburger, and that's what you do there. A corn dog, yeah. What's a Cougarita?
I don't know what's in it. I don't ask. I just drink it.
I feel like you're a bar guy. I feel like
I don't even know what he puts in it. It's just delicious. I just know there's an upside down Corona bottle and a bunch of grenadine and curacao, and it tastes good, and it's great.
And it always ends with a good time.
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, this was fun. Thank you both for being up here.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. I think let's leave the people, if you have any just pieces of advice, people here in the room listening, any last parting words, pieces of advice you would like to share with them?
All right. My biggest advice is to get involved. There are a bunch of people here that are looking for your business and want to network with you. Do that. But get involved. Give back to the university. Give to CougsFirst. Join CougsFirst. It'll help you out. If you're not a member of the Alumni Association, join the Alumni Association. If you're not a member of the Cougar Athletic Fund, go join the Cougar Athletic Fund. If you're not a member or you're not supporting Cougar Collective, go sign up and join Cougar Collective. Support your major. I give to the Hospitality Business Management Program. I give to Cougar Collective. I give to the Alumni Association. I give to the Cougar Athletic Fund. I give to them all. Give to CougsFirst. Be involved. Give back to the university that gave so much to you. The reason I'm successful and the reason why a lot of people are here successful is because the university went to. So give back to them, and I guarantee it'll come back to you.
You stole my answer. Copy paste, but I'm going to add to that is be genuine. I really think it is something about being genuine, remembering that person's name, remembering their story. Like Christina, she comes by my booth every single year, and we just have this bond, and we only see each other here, but it's so strong. And just be genuine, because we're Cougs. We're going to sniff you out if you're not. And we really do enjoy working with Cougs. So if you are genuine, you have good intentions, you're finding a way to give back to the community, then we're aligned.
And I just want to add, if financial is not an option, invest your time, invest your resources, do business with Cougar businesses. There's so many other ways to get involved. And honestly, the more that we can support each other, the more all of us succeed. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think time's a great thing. Again, if financials aren't there, volunteer your time at these events. Be there present. Hand out business cards, like help hand out T-shirts. You got the Alumni Association always has events. Like just show up and be involved. It's just a big thing of just time is a huge thing.
But be genuine when you're there. Don't just go there to get or to meet. Be genuine in every interaction.
Yeah, give more than you get. Yeah. Okay, and where can people find both of you and support your businesses? Let's give a little plug.
Well, today we're at booth 211, right around there. Go grab your free swag or those eye masks that I see popping around here. You can find us in Pullman. That's where our corporate office is. It will always be there because we want to give back to the community. We want to create jobs for the students. But collegehill.com is also where you can find me. And also, if you just want to talk, I'm happy to meet here off the stage, get to know you guys, and, let's work. Go Cougs.
I do not have a booth here, but in your bag, there is a $10 gift card to come to my bar.
Beer is on Matt. Beer is on
So that's
Matt.
where you can find me. I'm in Georgetown. I'm pretty much there all the time. And if I'm not there, then I'm in Pullman drinking. But go Cougs.
And I'm just going to plug, who here has listened to the CougsFirst podcast? Okay, everyone should be raising their hand because it's a pretty awesome thing that we're doing here. And ultimately, we're trying to share some cool Cougar stories. So make sure you're listening to the podcast. It's a great way to get connected. Hear maybe a different perspective from some people that you might recognize. And ultimately, please come talk to us. Talk to the people in the room. We're all here for you. We all want to help you. So go Cougs.
Go Cougs.